They tentatively stepped out and looked around.
It looks normal.
No fish going about their fishy business, or jellyfish floating lazily through the water. Jellyfish aren't lazy, they just lack brains. There was, however, a blowfish, or at least something that looked very much like one. June's cheeks were puffed out and her mouth a tiny, intense frown. Why you do this?
Oh, knock it off. It's just like I thought. This part hasn't flooded.
Is she holding her breath?
Come on, just look around. There's no water here.
June looked around nervously, then... June, you are a Dorcas. Exhaled.
You're right. It's not flooded at all.
See?
But there's a whole lot of water.
Yeah, right on top of us.
What's gonna happen if the ceiling breaks?
We'll die. Mostly. Junpei thought about that for a moment.
We'd probably die.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, no. Don't be so casual about something like that.
Would you rather me be formal about it? We will likely perish? Is that more to your liking?
At any rate, we should probably go back as soon as we can, once we're done looking around down here. Lotus and Santa might already be back.
Okay, good idea.
Now then.
Junpei glanced around the room they'd found themselves in. The first thing he noticed was a set of thick iron bars. They ran the length of the room, separating the left elevator from the right one.
Bars. Well, we can't go over there.
Right.
Then maybe.
In the corner of the room that housed the elevators, Junpei found an opening.
Well,
he walked up to it and stuck his head around the corner. Bum
looks
bum
like
bum
there's a long, straight
bum!
hallway down this way.
It's the number 6.
Something's written on the door at the end. Wait, is that...
A 6 door?
Let's check.
Junpei and June set off down the hallway at a brisk clip, somewhere between a run and a jog. So, a rog. Before long, they found themselves in front of the door. On it was a number written in bright red paint. 6.
I knew it!
This is a numbered door.
Wow! And indeed, there was a red bolted to the wall right next to the door.
But we can't do anything with only the 2 of us.
It's true, we need more than that.
We better head back and let everyone know.
Yes.
Quickly, to the hydroplane! Junpei and June turned and head back to C-Deck.
Wait, what's this?
On their way back, Junpei noticed a map on the wall.
Is this the map for E-Deck?
He stole it.
I should take it with me.
It's mine now. What you gonna do about it? Nothing. Also, hi.
You guys found door 1.
Hey. For some reason, my brain was trying to ask, well, how do you get through the one door? Frick, the same way as any door, dumbass. Anyway, they'd met back up with Santa and Lotus, who had explained what they'd found. Apparently, there was another numbered door on A-Deck, just like the one on E-Deck beyond the door that the Earth key opened. According to Santa and Lotus, there was a 1 on the door.
So now we've located 2 new doors. The 6 door and the 1 door.
Ha! Dig the damn!
You know, it is interesting that E-Deck wasn't flooded.
Lotus was quiet for a moment, lost in thought.
Well, we don't really know if all of E-Deck is safe. We only checked the area around the elevator.
Even so, it's still very interesting.
Word.
You said the 6th door was there, right?
I did.
Yes.
Then that means Zero planned all this out, even the sinking.
Was that not obvious?
That would have meant some pretty serious remodeling of the ship's interior.
I assumed as such.
It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it.
Yeah. I wonder how long it took. I can't even imagine how much it must have cost.
7 days and $30.
It would have been a ton, that's for sure.
Well, that does go along with what Ace was saying. The most reasonable explanation would be that this was done by some organization with access to a whole lot of cash.
Yes, it does make sense.
Yes, sense make. It do. Yes, stop on. That thought made them all go quiet for a moment. So, can the 4 of us open either of those doors, or are we waiting for those 3? You know, even then, we should wait for those 3. Yes. Doctor. Yes. June bit her lip while Lotus sighed softly to herself, and Santa cracked a stiff neck and stared off into the distance at nothing. We shall play Pictionary!
Yeah?
I don't think it's a very good idea to stay here.
But for why? June looked up at Junpei with large, pleading eyes.
Yes, you're right. Ace and his team might be back already.
Well, Junpei and I should be able to open door 1.
Yes, we should.
Huh? You guys leaving me behind?
Sure am, bye. 8 plus 6 plus 5 equals 19. Then you add the 1 and... Wait, you add the 1 and 9, then you get 0. 1 plus 9 equals 10. Right, no, you... Anyway. 1 plus 0 is 1.
Just kidding.
God, I'm stupid.
All right, let's go.
Lotus's words were all the impetus they needed. Back to the large hospital room they went. I wonder if they're actually going to be there. The moment they stepped inside, a tremendous voice echoed across the room.
Hey! Where the hell did you guys go?
The future. It was Seven.
7?
Oh, well, that's a good face. Ace was right behind him, and Clover was behind Ace, although she seemed to be hanging back.
What's wrong?
It looked as though there was something strange about them. Seven had the look of a man who'd seen a ghost. Ace was just as pale, and Clover looked as though she had only moments from passing out entirely. For a long moment, they simply stood there, looking at one another. Junpei looked around nervously, waiting for someone else to speak. No one did. He looked at Seven.
What happened?
What the hell kind of question is that?
The kind of question one might ask if they would like to gain information as to where, what you guys were up to. Seven was trying very hard to be angry, but something had shaken him hard. His shoulders were trembling and his voice was strained.
Snake is...
Seven couldn't finish. He just looked away, his face twisted by... Junpei wasn't sure what. Instead, Ace spoke. He took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and spoke.
Snake is... dead.
Okay. I gotta be honest, that's very surprising to me.
He died, just as the 9th man did.
Wait, he exploded? Ugh. It was as if the air had suddenly been sucked out of the room. Junpei felt his heartbeat quicken and he realized he was having trouble breathing. You could feel cold sweat beating on his forehead and neck. June, Santa, and Lotus looked the way he felt. All three were frozen in place, their faces white.
Oh my God, that's not true, is it?
We should make sure.
Yeah, right. We should.
They nodded to one another and headed for the number 3 door.
Wait, not that way.
What?
Why not? They stopped short and turned back to look at Seven. He was pointing at the door with no number.
I stuck a screwdriver in there to keep the door from closing all the way.
Nice.
It's not locked, so you can go in that way.
Where is he?
Shower room. Left side of the hall. I put a broom in there too to keep the door open.
I'm really glad that you constantly think about jamming all these doors open.
That means we can get in without going through the numbered door, right?
Yeah, that's right.
It should.
Let's go.
Their new destination clear, Junpei and his companions headed for the door with no number. Once in the hallway, it was easy to spot the metal door on the left
This
wall.
wasn't open when we passed here before.
But now, just as Seven had said, there was a broom stuck between the door and the frame, keeping it open.
Well, let's keep going.
They looked at it for a moment, then stepped inside.
Oh, it smells horrible.
Lotus wrinkled her nose and covered her mouth in disgust. Even Santa pinched his nose shut, and he's notorious for being able to tolerate rank smells.
Ugh, yeah, this is pretty awful. I feel like I'm gonna puke.
It was just as bad as they said, perhaps worse. A hideous smell filled the air so thick they could almost taste it. It was sour and smelled of fish, feces, and burnt meat. Ugh! It worked its way through Junpei's nose and down his throat to pound against the entrance to his stomach. That is an incredibly gross combo.
Ooh.
He put his hands over his mouth and struggled to keep what little was in his stomach where it belonged.
Where is he? Where's Snake?
Ew, that can't be good. They didn't have to wonder where the body was. There was blood everywhere, a few arms of the splattered reaching towards them as they walked in through the door. All one had to do was follow the many radial arms to their source. The body itself was hidden behind a divider.
June, you should stay here.
But
You all got all oogie boogied on the last one. You don't need to look at this.
Please, just do me a favor, okay? All right?
He didn't give her a chance to say no. He put his hand on her shoulder as if to shove her into the ground like a tent pole, turned and walked towards the end of the divider.
I'm going in.
It felt like it took an eternity for him to get there. Santa and Lotus followed, timid and nervous as a pair of children. Eventually, they reached the divider. They looked at one another and nodded slowly. Junpei put his hands on the divider and peered around the corner. For a moment, he forgot to breathe. He felt his heart collapse in his chest like an empty cigarette carton and time froze. What are these analogies? He knew in that instant that he would take the image before him to the grave. What was left of the body sat in a sea of blood. Chunks of flesh torn from the body sat in the blood like tiny islands in a great Red Sea. A vast ragged hole had been torn in the torso, and what remained of his intestines spilled out like fresh. Oh god, the description. I'd be avoiding all of this if I wasn't in novel mode. Smaller chunks of meat had splattered against the wall because they tried. Oh god, that's gross. Why do they have to keep getting all descriptive with it? Globules of yellowish fat had left trails like tiny slugs as gravity pulled them down off the walls.
Just like Ace said.
Santa's voice was strained. Junpei suspected he was holding down some vomit of his own.
Just like the ninth man. The detonator in his bracelet set off the bomb in his gut.
It looked as though the explosion had been quite powerful.
The bone is coming out of his left arm.
It's definitely an open fracture.
His legs were both bent in an odd, unnatural way, and his left arm had split open, exposing the painfully white bone of his ulna? Sorry, I'm familiar with the name of bones. His bracelet lay next to him. It seemed to have hit the wall hard enough to have shattered the display, which lay on the ground in pieces. Can we still read it?
Oh, the face. It's horrible.
Yeah, can't even tell who it is.
See, yeah, no, that's exactly my thing. If we can read the display on the bracelet, then I could partially buy it. But the fact that it went out of its way to tell me that it was shattered and unreadable, or I didn't say it was unreadable, but it was shattered. Half of his head had simply collapsed. The blood coating almost made it look like, why you gotta no, don't ruin pizza like that. His clothes too were covered in blood. The burgundy tie, the white shirt, the jacket with the yellow piping, and the gray slacks.
But the clothes are...
We're all familiar to Junpei.
No mistake about it. It's Snake.
But if we can't identify the face and we can't read the bracelet, then, I mean, isn't it theoretical that it's possible that that's not him? Am I being stupid for thinking that? I mean, I guess if it isn't, then who the hell's body was it? The squeal of tortured metal made Junpei's teeth curl. Sounded like the noise a ghost would make. No matter how many times he heard it, he never got used to it. Every time it put him on edge. It didn't help that there was a girl nearby who looked far more like a ghost than a living human should. It was Clover. Just a little bit worried about her. She sat on the edge of the bed, her head drooping listlessly onto her chest. Her eyes were blank and stared across the room at nothing. Her breathing was slow and mechanical. Aside from the rise and fall of her chest, she didn't move. Junpei felt as if even a nudge might cause her to shatter into 1,000 pieces.
Snake was probably murdered. Chances are he was killed the same way the ninth man was.
I was kind of curious what you meant by murdered, but yeah, that is technically what that would mean. I was like, wait, he was killed somehow and then stashed away? No, I mean, the bomb inside him, that would still count as murder. Seven lowered his voice, likely in an effort to keep Clover from hearing what he had to say. There were 4 other people in the room with Junpei and Seven. Ace, Santa, June, and Lotus. Seven looked at each other, one of them in turn, and continued.
It's pretty straightforward. Not that hard to figure out how they did it. First, the killers got Snake to authenticate on the red to open door 3. Then they shoved him into it. Alone.
Okay, well, disregarding my theory that it's not Snake, and assuming that it is, that would mean that one of the people that we know of is a murderer. Unless Zero can somehow run around on his own. I suppose there's nothing saying that they can't. But I feel, especially when you combine it with the fact that Zero earlier made it seem like somebody had gone through this game before, definitely implies to me... Oh, you know what that could mean? Theoretically... I mean, there's nothing saying that both of those things couldn't be true. That Zero could run around and also someone with us as a killer. Like, as far as we know, maybe the voice that went over the PA system was a recording or something, and one of us is Zero. That's not impossible. I guess I don't have too much of a basis for thinking that, but I'm just kind of throwing any and all possible theories at the wall here to see what sticks.
We waited 9 seconds for the door to shut. Once that door shut, it was all over for Snake. But he didn't give up. He probably knew it wouldn't do him any good, but he probably ran into the shower room looking for the dead. It was a small chance, but it wasn't like he had anything to lose. Unfortunately, it didn't work. The detonator is only deactivated if everybody who authenticated when they went in uses the dead. Snake was the only one who went through the door. And then, 81 seconds after he was shoved in.
Ooh, wait. No. Disregard. In order to open the door, that would require 3 people. And assuming Snake is one of the 3 people that they use to open the door to throw it out, then that wouldn't mean there's one bad guy. That would mean there were 2. Because it would have required 2 people to grab Snake and have him do it, and then, oh boy, that's not good. That's much worse than there just being one person on the bad side here.
That happened.
I see. So that's what you meant by killers, huh?
Yeah. All right. There you go. No, I didn't hear that part.
3 people to open one of the numbered doors, including Snake.
Okay. I mean, theoretically, again, we're tossing all possible theories at the wall here. It's possible that while it being part of our group and even Zero being part of our group is a possibility, it's also just as much of a possibility that, as far as we know, it could have just been Zero and they have like an override ability, or they have an accomplice and we don't know the identity of either Zero or said accomplice. There are a wide range of possibilities here.
It wouldn't open for Snake and a single killer.
Yeah. That means we're looking at multiple perps here.
Junpei crossed his arms and grunted.
Well, just in case, I want to make sure. Let's say you're right. When do you think Snake was killed?
When we all split up to look for the parts for the Reds, I think. Right after that was when we noticed he was gone.
Then that means none of us have alibis.
Of course not.
We were all off searching the rooms we'd been assigned, looking for those parts.
Ain't that just incredibly convenient?
Yeah. That means anybody could be a killer.
Wait a minute. What are you talking about?
And now we've got distrust, and that's something you never want. Oh, boy.
How can you say that so casually?
I mean, again, would you rather he say it more formally? Any off thou may be done murderer? Like,
You're
what?
implying that one of us is a killer.
2, actually.
Well, not just one of us. If I'm right, then at least 2 of us are murderers.
Let that be the operative terms, by the way. At least 2.
Why don't you calm down a bit, Seven? What are you going to gain by being so suspicious? That's what Zero wants, you know?
Aha, so it was you. Okay, noted. It's like, hey, wait, oh, why over there? Why are you being so suspicious of this thing? You getting too close to the answer? Oh, no, can't have any of that. I never trusted you.
Zero wants?
Exactly. This game was set up by Zero, wasn't it?
Yes.
Any game has a winner and loser. Whoever makes it through door 9 is a winner, and those who don't are the losers.
Okay, but what if you're Zero? Boom, 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 boom.
Zero is trying to make us fight against one another for that victory.
And again, so far, this game has been incredibly well written. So I can't help but feel like literally every single theory that I've thrown at the wall right now are all incorrect, and there's going to be something I'm not considering being the truth. That seems like so much more likely.
Then you're saying that Zero is trying to split us up by making us fight each other?
Yes. That is why we can't let ourselves fall prey to suspicion.
Too late, everyone's doing it already.
We have to trust one another and form a strong bond of friendship.
Oh yeah, good luck selling that on with people. That ain't
Otherwise,
happening.
we'll end up ensnared by Zero's manipulations.
Then does that mean that the person who killed Snake...
Yes. Almost certainly Zero himself.
Okay, that does line up with one of my possible theories. But again, when I have like 5 theories, and all of them are just as possible all at the same time, and I don't have any supporting evidence for any of them, they're literally all just random guesses as to things. Like, it doesn't mean any of them are true.
If there's anyone we should doubt, it should be Zero. He masterminded this game and kidnapped all of us. Doesn't it seem reasonable that he would have killed Snake as well?
Yeah, but now all my brain can tell me is, man, you sure are trying to get us to think your way of thinking. Isn't that, you know, oh, wow, you're, you know, that's some good thoughts you're having right there. I believe you. Yes, let's all trust Ace. Yes, let's all trust him. I was evil the whole time. You know, like, I don't know. Anything is possible.
Question.
Junpei hadn't really considered that.
If Zero killed Snake, then Zero is on the ship with us.
I always assumed that from the start. Junpei. Was Zero still on the ship with them? Am I answering the narrator's question? I mean, I was under the assumption the entire time that Zero was on the ship. Even if it was none of us, I always thought that they were. So I'm gonna say yes. Of course he was. Now it was obvious.
I don't...
Zero was somewhere on the ship, but Junpei had no idea where. Junpei mumbled to himself, lost in thought.
Where could Zero be hiding?
Literally anywhere we don't have access to, which has been proven to be a very wide assortment of places? Suddenly, everyone went very quiet. The silence was cold and clammy, like some kind of clam, and Junpei couldn't feel it crawling across his back around his throat, or he could, rather. Again, he heard the ghosting moaning outside, and moments later, a person who looked more ghost than human appeared. It was Clover. She looked at the floor as she spoke, and her voice was a cold monotone. I don't know if we're going to be able to really get any sort of jovial actions out of her ever again, or if she's even going to be helpful.
I think
Oh boy.
Zero is
Here we go.
one of us.
Yeah, there you go. That's another one of my theories. And apparently that was something that Junpei had not considered. You can't say that it's not possible, people! She has a point! Every human body in the room froze. The only sound was the muffled rustling of breath. The eyes darted from face to face. One of those faces was the face of their jailer. It was the kind of facey face that faces up all the sorts. You know the kind of face. That one. But who? Was he one of them? No, I can't say it's crazy. It is possible. Everything that I have theorized is possible.
Well, that's possible.
Huh?
Like Clover said, Zero might be one of us.
I can't say that there's a 100% certainty that it's not something that's true.
What are you saying, Jumpy?
Exactly what I just said.
Didn't you hear what Ace said?
Exactly. I said we shouldn't suspect one another for no reason.
Yeah, and I'm saying it's awfully convenient that you're constantly trying to get us to stop thinking so much.
No reason. I've got a great reason.
Yeah, how about this reason?
And what's that?
The bracelets.
He held out his left
All
arm.
the bombs in our bodies connected to the bracelets. You're all thinking Zero's hiding somewhere watching us, right? If he's doing that, then he could just detonate the bombs by remote control if someone did something they weren't supposed to. It would be a lot more precise and a lot easier. But if that's the case, then why is the bomb set off by the detonator in the bracelet?
I hadn't considered that. That's a fairly good point.
You got a point. I'm not done. Try applying the same ideas to the nonary game. All of the puzzles here run all by themselves. In other words, Zero doesn't have to be controlling them for the game to move forward. Why's that? Why would Zero bother to do something like that?
Yeah, it would all be automated. Either they're at a charming Bristow, or they're among us. Junpei let the question hang in the air and looked at the others. It was Santa who
So
answered.
let's say you and Clover are right. Zero's one of us.
It's you!
If that's the case, then it'd be really hard for him to keep track of all of us or control anything remotely.
Mm-hmm.
That's why all the puzzles run by themselves.
That's the theory.
That's what you're getting at, right?
I mean, hey, if you want to disprove my theory, I am all ears. Please, speak up.
Yeah.
Junpei nodded.
Seven, when we were talking earlier, you said any one of us could be Snake's killer, right?
Yeah, something like that.
All right then. I've got a question for you, Ace.
Uh-oh.
You said something like Zero must be the one who killed Snake, right?
Yes, something like that. I can't think of any other explanation.
So what do we get if we combine those? They fit together pretty well, I think. Something like this. Whoever killed Snake is Zero. Hence, Zero is one of us.
It's like a digital sum or something. I don't know.
Seven and Ace's theories aren't mutually exclusive. They actually complement each other pretty well. At least they do if Zero is one of us.
No one spoke. He was dropping mad truth bombs, and they didn't know how to react. Their faces were grim, but Junpei wasn't sure if they believed him or not. Finally, Lotus spoke up.
What were his motives?
Crazy man?
His motives.
Yes, isn't that pretty important?
Not always. I mean, it can. Yes, it can. But does every psycho killer in the history of mankind have a good motive? No. In fact, a lot of them have terrible ones.
Why would Zero want to hide as one of us?
Oh, well, in that aspect, ensure our death, have a more personal touch on his craft. I don't know. I've heard a lot of motives from a lot of crazy people. Anything is feasible.
Oh, well, that's because,
Junpei choked. He hadn't thought of that, and he had to be honest with himself. He had no idea.
I don't know.
Again, though, that's that's saying that you're trying to insert logic into the entire situation, you know? There might not be logic. It could be, I don't know what the first character that comes to mind is freaking Carnage, but that guy, you know, he goes off of non-logic. He does as his whims take him. It doesn't mean there's a reason. Lotus sighed.
So much for making a persuasive argument, Junpei.
What? You can't... Okay, whoa, dang, well, you didn't answer my single question. Guess that invalidates literally everything you said. Moving on.
In other words, you only had circumstantial evidence.
As if any of you have anything better.
I don't really think that's enough to go on, you know?
Alright, whatever, fine. Junpei was painfully aware of their eyes on him and their disapproval. He tried to find something else, anything else to look at. Then in that horrible silence... Three? Oh, they heard a bell begin to ring. It was a clock at the central staircase. It went 3.
It's 3 in the morning.
That means we have 3 hours left.
Yeah, butts.
Then we need to move now. Seven, Clover, Junpei. I know how you feel, but you do understand that right now it's important we trust one another, don't you?
You're right, but...
Junpei couldn't bring himself to respond. He swallowed the words he wanted to say and sighed. Seven and Clover remained similarly silent. Their eyes were looking at something somewhere else very far away.
We must go. We have very little time left.
Ace's words put their feet to moving. They all knew where they were going.
Our next destination is Mercury.
But maybe you and June should check it out first and then report back to us.
All right, let's go, June.
Right.
Friendship Squad, away!
Here it is.
It sat bolted to the wall near the stairs that led to the casino and the kitchen between the 2 elevators.
The Mercury card reader.
We're using the card 7 gave us, right?
That we are.
Yeah.
I found it when we were checking out the shower room.
Ah, interesting. I was gonna say, wait, didn't we already use the key card? Apparently he found another one.
I think 7 said something like that.
It would have been nice if we had actually experienced that moment, but okay.
Anyway, let's see what happens.
It's weird how sometimes... It happens a lot with 7 specifically, I notice. It's like, oh, didn't I say that? Well, no, but everyone acts as if yes. So it's like there are scenes that we don't see for some reason. Junpei slid the card through the reader. The light on the reader turned green and made a tiny electronic noise.
I guess the elevator works now.
Woo!
Jumpy, I know it's only the 2 of us, but let's do our best.
Yeah, let's do that!
What's with you all of a sudden?
She's feeling pumped.
Well, I'm happy we were put together.
Oh,
You know it's just for searching E-Deck, right?
yeah, well, let her have this.
Even so, I'm glad I'm with you.
Oh. First, we need to find out if the elevator comes up full of water.
Just like we did before.
Yep. So stand aside, otherwise your shoes might get soggy. It's a big Nope, Sylvania.
Oh, here it is.
I'm willing to bet that there, just as a guess, there's probably a 3rd door.
I knew it. It's not wet at all.
Let's go.
Yes.
Once it had been checked for water, Junpei and June stepped into the elevator.
Look! Nearly all of the buttons are destroyed.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, only the seat and bottom button can be pushed.
We're on C deck right now, so the only one we can choose is bottom.
Theoretically, if you had a specific kind of tool, or even just a kind of a jerry-rigged mechanism, you should still be able to hit the buttons.
Yeah. Well, let's try it out.
Junpei hit the bottom button. And you better believe they went to the bottom. Slowly, they began to move downward.
Oh, so this is the bottom deck.
They stepped off and saw the hallway to their right ended somewhere between 20 and 25 feet from them. The hallway in front of them was a dead end, but not a regular dead end.
Over there.
It's a 2!
This is a numbered door.
Yeah, not too big a surprise on that
This
one.
is the 8th one we found. There were 2 numbered doors on B deck near the central staircase. They were doors 4 and 5.
Yeah.
3 more in the large hospital room. Doors 3, 7, and 8.
And the door we found on E deck, and the door Lotus and Santa found on A deck. It was a 6 on the door on E deck, and a 1 on the door on A deck.
And a 2 here, meaning past these 3 doors. Although, interesting. I wonder how connected they could possibly be. One of them isn't under, like, you need to go through an elevator and go down to get to 2 of them. But there's one that's above. Interesting. And now door 2 stood in front of Junpei.
That means...
Do you think the next door we find?
Should be 9.
Yeah, I think so. The next one's gonna be door 9.
Yay! Despite himself, Junpei felt excited. There was something about that excitement that frightened him as well.
Finally!
Yeah,
You don't look very happy about it, though.
it's not that. I just hope nothing goes wrong.
Something is definitely going to go wrong.
You're right. We should keep our fingers crossed.
Let's head back.
And cross your toes, too!
Okay.
He did his best to put it in front of his in front of his mind, and headed back to C deck with June. Hey, yo, found 2 door, y'all.
1, 2, 3, 4. All right, 7 pieces.
The pieces of paper they'd folded up lay on the ground next to Junpei's leg. What? Paper? Everyone had written on paper pulled from Junpei's notebook in an effort to pull together a blind
Just
vote.
double checking, but everyone wrote their code name and a door number they want, right?
Yes, just like you told us earlier.
Can't believe we're voting here.
Why had they decided to vote that way?
We need to make the whole thing fair, blah-de-blah. This is a complicated plan, you know. Hurry it up, Mr. I have a brilliant idea.
No one ever said that I had that! They decided it wasn't fair to simply ask everyone at once. They would allow people to force others to go through certain doors. You know what I find interesting? Generally, when you have something like this, this isn't a first-person perspective. You know? You know, like, just to bring it back to the first thing I could think of, Danganronpa, like, when you're playing as, say, like, Makoto or something, and you're playing as him, and, you know, you read internal thoughts and stuff. You know, you're reading it from his perspective. But this isn't from Junpei's perspective, it's from a narrator. Like, even earlier, when it felt like I was answering a question that the narrator was asking, that seemed weird to me.
Yeah, quiet in the peanut gallery.
And not that you don't even get me started on the walnuts. And he had a plan. It wasn't a plan he wanted anyone catching wind of, however, so he did his best to act calm as he began to open and read the pieces of paper.
All right, let's open these up. The first one says, Ace requests door 1.
Yes, I do. Would you like me to explain why?
No.
No, we don't have time for that. Sorry. Let's keep going.
He opened the second one.
Next is Santa. He wants door 6.
Yeah, that's what I wrote.
Junpei continued with the 3rd, 4th, and 5th pieces of paper.
Clover wants 1, Lotus wants 2, and 7 also wants 2.
Wait a minute. There is no way I'm going anywhere with the Elephant Man.
Okay, well, first of all, mean. Second of all, why?
No, there'd be no point to the voting if we let people change their choices because of stuff like that.
But, no.
Just give it up, Lotus. It's not like I want to hang out with some exhibitionist grandma.
Grandma?
I am not an exhibitionist. I'm wearing clothes.
I mean, barely.
Barely.
I love it when that happens.
So, last I checked, that's not a crime.
Also, but no, really? Grandma? Dude, she looks younger than you do.
Maybe. But what about common decency? Nobody wants to have to look at a chick who looks like a half-naked raisin.
I don't see even the slightest resemblance to a wrinkle anywhere on her person.
Oh, I'm gonna kill you!
All right, then. Lotus's hair flared out like the mane of an angry lion.
Not good.
She roared with a voice that shook the walls.
Let go! Let go of me! I'm killing him!
With some difficulty, Ace managed to restrain her.
Junpei, read the rest.
Doing it.
Right.
Junpei tore his eyes away and looked down at the 6th piece of paper. He opened it.
June wants door 6.
Yes. I don't really have a reason. I just felt like it.
I want to go on the door that doesn't involve having to go lower in the ship. All of the papers saved Junpei's had been read. He did some quick calculations in his head.
So this was everyone's vote. Ace and Clover requested door 1.
Okay. This was the door on A deck near the central staircase.
7 and Lotus requested door 2.
That was the door on the bottom deck and could be reached by taking the elevator to the bottom of the ship.
Santa and June requested door 6.
This was the door on E deck and could be reached by taking the elevator near the central staircase down.
Then the door I should choose is...
And it took him less than a second to run the numbers. He opened the 7th piece of paper and spoke.
The last one is mine. I want to go through...
Ugh. Okay. I mean, personally, I wanted to go through this one.
My choice is door 1.
Santa was unconvinced.
Hey, wait a minute there. You cheating?
How so?
Cheating?
I'm asking if you changed your number after you heard what doors we wanted.
I mean, I wrote it down, did I not?
How could I do that? I wrote it down on the paper earlier.
Let me see that.
Sure, here.
Junpei shrugged and handed it to him. Santa examined it furiously. The others peered at it as well. As they did, Junpei quickly slipped the piece of paper he'd been hiding into his pocket. Although he'd never know it now, Santa had been justified in his suspicions. Junpei had switched papers.
I had 3 pieces of paper ready.
For doors 1, 2, and
And
6.
I put the one with door 6 on it into the pot.
He put a small mark on it so that he would know which one was
I just
his.
needed to make sure I drew last.
Damn.
After I saw everyone else's result, I just chose whatever door I wanted.
That's crafty.
If the number I'd already put in matched, then I didn't have to switch the paper out. Well, what does it say?
He fought the urge to smirk.
You got lucky.
Or did I? Santa snorted and tossed the paper aside, frustrated.
Very well. We've decided who will go through door 1. It will be Clover, Junpei, and myself.
Yeah, see... I don't... I mean, yes, that is the door that I wanted to go through, but I had some second thoughts after I learned who I'd be going through with. I don't know. I mean, I guess... I don't know. I'm suspicious of Ace. I know I was making a bit of some funny ha-has and everything, but at the same time, then again, maybe that's a good reason to go with him? I don't know. 1 + 4 + 5 = 10, so that means
The
1.
only problem is the 2 remaining teams.
June and I want door 6.
Lotus and I want door 2.
That's not good. We can't open either of those doors with only 2 people.
Yeah.
Aw.
Fine. 7, we'll go through door 6.
3, 6, 7, 8, 24, 2, 4, 6.
Sure thing. I didn't really want to go through door 2 anyway. Besides, if we've got a younger girl with us, it'll lower the average age.
What is your deal? And also, she is clearly not that old.
Right, June?
Well, I am...
Why would you push this button? June was at a loss for words. Lotus was not.
Pig. You just wait and see.
Her eyes were the eyes of a woman prepared to kill. A shiver ran down Junpei's spine. All right, well,
Calling me old.
here's hoping we see all of them again.
This is why men are such a pain in the ass. They're about as subtle as a brick.
And they're at it again.
Even after they separated at the staircase, Lotus was still muttering angrily to herself. Okay, I mean, while I am suspicious of Ace's constant attempts to pacify things, it really could just be straight up a good guy and somebody else, or literally nobody is a bad guy. Oh, God. Games like this are always frying my brain.
I'll see you later, June.
Jumpy.
Circumstances dictated that Junpei and June would have to part ways again, and this time it didn't sting quite so much.
Don't make that face. It'll be like what 7 said.
We aren't going to be split up permanently till we find door 9. We might get separated for a little while, but we'll see each other again. Otherwise, we won't be able to open door 9. And that's how the notary game works.
Makes sense. Even if I don't know how exact. I guess there could be another elevator in the lower ones. I guess that would make sense. Because you wouldn't be... If door 9 wouldn't be able to show up at the bottom, because if that opened up, it would lead to the water. So it would have to go on the upper floor. Probably A deck, if I had to guess. Or probably an elevator or something that maybe they could bump into. That's my best guess.
It'll be fine. I'll see you soon.
All right. See you later.
Lingering uneasy remained. Yeah, lingering uneasy remained? Wouldn't that be lingering unease? But they went their separate directions without much trouble. I don't know English that great. It's fine. Junpei, Ace, and Clover headed towards A deck.
Here's A deck. It was the door on the left, right?
Also, while Clover is adorable, yes, and while yes, great voice actress, yes. At the same time, she's also in a tizzy, and that honestly, everything about this just worries me. I don't know if this was a good idea.
That should be it, yes.
Then here we go.
I mean, I'm just remembering the time she yelled at us so, intensely. And I'm just like, oh, I don't want to get into any shouting matches.
It's just as Santa and Lotus said.
At the end of the hallway sat a door with a large red 1 upon it.
Numbered door.
All I can do is trust the people I'm with and rock on. To the left of it, bolted to the wall, was the red.
The red. I'll go first.
Ace went first and waved his wrist over. As far as I know, if it's freaking anybody, man. I'm like, my brain is racing with about 1.5 billion possibilities a second, man. Anyway.
Now the two of you, if you would.
Junpei was next. Finally, listlessly, Clover lifted her arm. She leaned towards the scanner panel. The third asterisk clicked to life, shining brightly. Ace took hold of the lever. He took a deep breath and turned to Junpei and Clover.
Are you ready? Shall I pull it?
As I'll ever be.
Yeah, anytime.
Clover said nothing. She's going to be that way. She nodded, little more than a lethargic twitch of the head.
Very well, then. Let's go. 3, 2, 1.
Big click.
And it's open! Move it!
Friggin' bolt! They stumbled into the room.
Where is it?
Frantically, Junpei scanned the room. Nyeh! His eyes spotted on the device that would determine whether they lived or died.
There it is! Over there!
Next to the door they'd come through was the dead. As one, they ran to it. They put their hands over it as if they were fighting for it. There you go. Okay. No explosions today.
It stopped.
Yes, it did.
Junpei could feel his heart pounding against the inside of his ribs. Ace and Clover were breathing hard and fast.
I don't believe I'll ever get used to that.
Yeah, well, luckily that should be the last time we need to.
I'm not sure it's something I'd want to get used to. We should finish this game before imminent death becomes a normal thing.
Yeah, I'd rather that not be the case.
I agree.
Ha ha, we're having a grand old time. Ain't that right, Clover? Oh, wait. Now then, Junpei looked around again, this time more slowly. Yes, maps.
There's another door. Let's try opening it.
He took a hold of the knob and easily, gently pulled it open.
So, this is the wheelhouse?
Is that what that room is called in a ship? Huh. He closed the door again and turned to Ace and Clover. He fixed each in turn with a meaningful stare, then spoke.
Ace, you investigate the wheelhouse next door.
Very well.
Clover, I'm not going to ask a lot of you at all. You just do your thing.
Clover, you're in charge of this room. Say something.
Okay.
All right then, let's get started.
There you go. It's something. Oh, boy. This is gonna be a thing. Also, I am actually very curious. All right, so the chart room is where we are. Which path am I on? This one. Interesting. All right, well, I'm locked down some kind of ending, except an ending that these are two things. Although I can jump back to anything. So I suppose by the time I get to here and say I end up here, whatever happens, happens. I could probably back up and do whatever the opposite choice is to get to these. That's my best guess, at least. We'll find out. We'll find out. But first things first, we gotta get the hell out of here. How are we gonna do that? It's a cabinet. There sure are a lot of drawers here. Clover isn't very talkative. She looks kind of upset. Can't imagine why. Anyway, it's a map. Stack of nautical charts. I think this is a nautical chart? There's this line on it here. I think the line is the route the ship is supposed to take. There are these dots all over the map. Oh, those are probably ports, like for a boat to stop at. Looks like the lines connect the dots. All right. Anything else to that? Gonna be honest with you, it's such a low-res image, I don't really know how much information I'm gonna get out of it. And yeah, then close the drawer. Then close the drawer! Oh, is that the only drawer I can open? I guess so. All right, then fair enough. Lamp says nay. What about this little chair? A chair! A chair! Clover isn't talking much. Well, I guess that's understandable. I mean, she'd been through a lot. Really, it's more surprising that she's still together enough to talk at all. That's really the best way to look at it. A chair. It seems solemn somehow and melancholy. A chair. Okay. Just seeing, just seeing. The shelves are lined with books. Let's see what's in this blue one. There's something written on it. Ship's log. Huh. Ship's log, huh? New material has been added to the file screen. What? Okay. That's weird. Ship's log found in the chart room. The following is written on the last page. We leave soon for a new journey across the sea for the One Piece. After leaving port, we headed south and west. We turned southwest to steer around the continent, then proceed northwest. We made the port, then changed our heading to the east for a time, and are now headed due north. Soon we will dock in the United Kingdom, the homeland of this vessel. Okay, so we headed south, then west, then we went northwest, and then we made port, then we went east for a while, then we went north. Yeah, that's all gonna be important later. Oh, that blows. Watch! All right, this is a pocket watch. She hasn't been saying much, and she just keeps looking at the floor. She seems kind of sad. It's almost like her brother has been murdered or something. Crazy. Interesting, interesting. All right. It's a pocket watch and an old one, too. The hands have stopped at 5 minutes, 39 seconds past 10 o'clock. I wonder if it's broken. Yeah, I don't feel anything moving when I fiddle the dial here. Looks like I can move the hands manually, though. Fascinating. I'm sure the time is something of note at something. A voice he hadn't expected startled Junpei from his examination of the pocket watch.
Oh, pocket watch. Might I take a look at it?
The heck are you doing in here? He spun around to find Ace standing in the doorway. Junpei shrugged and handed him the pocket watch.
Hey, man. What are you doing over in this room?
Oh,
Yeah!
I just thought I'd come check up on the two of you. Is there a problem?
I guess not. Not a problem.
Well, not a problem, but...
Junpei looked desperately around the room, anywhere but at Ace, trying to find a convincing reason to dismiss him. Ace opened his mouth and took another look at Junpei and shut it again. A small smirk appeared on his face.
Oh, I see. Of course.
He looked Junpei over, then glanced at Clover.
I apologize for the intrusion.
That's not what this was!
Well, best of luck.
Ace gave Junpei a knowing pat on the shoulder and left. That is not where I was going with any of that. For no reason he could fathom, Junpei's head began to hurt.
What the hell? My head.
Wait, like actually? A sharp pain in his head. How much time passed? He wasn't sure. But he did notice when Ace strode through the door. His smile was more of a smirk, and he had the air of a man who knew more than his opponent.
Yes. There was something I wanted to check, if you don't mind.
Yeah? What's that?
Pardon me.
With no warning, Ace slipped his hand into the pocket of Junpei's vest.
Hey, what the hell are you doing? Well, what are you putting your hand in my pocket for? Stop!
He reached for Ace's arm, but it was already too late. In the older man's hand were the pieces of paper Junpei had balled up hidden in his pocket. You really probably shouldn't have held on to those.
Just as I thought. You switched them, didn't you, when we voted?
No.
Well, I can't say that I care. I managed to get through the numbered door I wanted, despite your mischief.
Then, why did you...
Oh, simple curiosity. I hope you won't think ill of me for it.
I mean, I guess I won't think ill of you for it, but I will think oddly of you for it. Ace smiled, gave Junpei a friendly pat on the shoulder, and then turned on his heel and left. This has been a very odd exchange. It was a small defeat, but it was a defeat. Junpei had lost the upper hand, and he knew it. He could feel his stomach begin to tense.
Damn.
I wonder if somebody finds out in all of the doors. Anyway, any other things? The left drawer. Let's have a look, and it's nothing. All right, right drawer. Let's have a look, and it's nothing. A chair. Clover isn't very talkative. She looks kind of out of it. Is she thinking about Snake? Snake loved chairs. Something special about it. All chairs are special. All right. I mean, probably? Maybe? No, I don't know. A world map with the Atlantic Ocean in the center. There are a number of red pins in several locations. What do these red pins mean? Well, the nautical chart I picked up earlier have a map like this one. Maybe one of them matches up to the pins or something. Let's see. Yeah, what do you know? Looks like this one's a match to the pins. Okay, so we got 7 locations connected by straight lines. What animal is this connect the dots of? An anteater, of course. And each one had a word next to it. That's probably the speed. New material has been added to the file screen. Of course it has. All right. Oh, God. A nautical table on the chart. Okay, it shows the directions of south, west, southwest, northwest, east, north, and straight. There's a word next to each point of the map. Full, half, slow, full, half, dead, stop. That's what it says. I see. Okay. Not looking forward to whatever that's going to end up being. Anyway, shelves are lined with books, and they all have something to do with sailing. None of these look useful. All right, that seems to be just about everything that's inside this particular locale. The helm! Well, steering wheel might be a more appropriate term. So you say. A compass. It appears to be broken, however. You see, the glass cover has been smashed to pieces. This is my last resort. Oh wait, no, that's cut into pieces. Never mind. This isn't good. So many drawers, but nothing inside of them. Oh, well, that's interesting. There's some sort of square device embedded in this door. Do I still have the pocket watch? I do. Looks like this is some sort of lock. It's got a weird shaped indentation on it. Ugh, this shape. Maybe does look like the pocket watch would fit here. Sorry, hiccuped. Ugh. Nothing. I imagine the pocket watch is intended to go in there. However, we may need to do something with the watch first. Probably set it to a specific... time! Ugh. Okay, stop that, body. No more of that. Okay. Ain't got no time for that mess. Also, that's the door I came through. Fair enough, universe. Oh. Ah! A human hammer? They're often used to subdue large men like Seven. What? That was a joke, of course. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Ace, you really kind of suck at making jokes. Ha! That was rather cruel. Also, I don't know what exactly I clicked on that could have been a human hammer. What? It's a wooden board with a circular hole in it. Ah, I see. An engine order telegraph. You use this on old ships to adjust the speed of the ship. Like the gear shift in a car? Oh, it's a little different. The device doesn't connect directly to the engine. In short, it's a transmitter. The navigation officer used it to set the speed of the ship, and it sends a signal to the engine. There's a handle on top of it, which can be moved back and forth to. Hold on. There's no handle. All right, there isn't. Looks as though it was deliberately removed. Meaning I need to find it. Steering wheel. There are handles placed at regular intervals, so that's easy to turn. Old school. Hey, a handle? So, a steering wheel? There are the old school. What? I thought maybe that was the handle. I don't know. An engine order telegraph. The handle's been taken off. If you could find a replacement handle, I could probably get it to move. All right. Interesting. Let's see. A compass. And what destiny does it point us to? I really hope you don't think that sounded cool. Okay, well, now we're just bullying the man. I get that I was mildly suspicious of him, but, like, wow, you don't gotta be all mean. This room is just like the other one. Metal plates bolted over the windows. Heck, not just bolted, it looks like they've been welded on. No way in hell are we gonna get those off anytime soon. All right. A vent. What is this, some kind of display? Looks like a little like an electronic scoreboard. I imagine it was added recently. An arrival board like at an airport. There's nothing on it right now, though. I see. Okay. Huh. What about this door? Interesting. What I'm curious about is the fact that there are 2 steering wheels? I kind of thought this was like a reflective surface, but no. A desk! Anything in the drawers? No. Alright. Well, my good chums, we have reached a bit of an impasse here. Mechanical pocket watch with a spring doesn't appear to be working. The hands have stopped at 5:39 past 10. Turning the knob does nothing, probably broken. Looks as though you could move the hands, however. Yes, but I don't seem to have the ability to actually do this, so... Oh, boy. Okay. I mean, I have some ideas. Like, I imagine I need to match up all those signs to all of this stuff. You know, full, half full, slow, slop, and all that jargon. And then there's all these directions. Also, I've got a big old map. Got that going for me, which is neat. But as far as progress of any sort, this thing won't budge. Feels like there's something keeping it in place. What would be the point of moving it? The ship has stopped. What would be the use of steering it? Yeah, I know, still. Something could be jamming it, maybe? Like a handle could be? Doesn't appear so. I can't use whatever that is. Okay, thick iron plate on the wall. Can I finagle with this? The handle's been taken off. No. Steering wheel, old school. Anything at all. Wooden board, nothing suspicious here. What about that? No. I don't know what to do. It's just like the one on the left. It's broken, though. Can't really use something that's broken. Compass, needle is pointing north. Okay, so I've inspected just about everything. The only item I have on my person is a stopwatch, of which I can do nothing with. I have the ship's log and a nautical table, which sound like they'd be really good for solving particular puzzles, but unless I can actually activate said puzzle, that's not really going to be of much value to me. Like, even if I knew what time on the watch I needed to do in order to be able to use it as a key to open up this door, I don't, in fact, even know how I would do that. It says, like, oh, well, you can change the hands. Like, yeah, I can, but can I? Broken pocket watch, can move the handles manually. The knob doesn't work. Yeah, so unless there's something I'm missing here, doesn't seem like it. It just has to be something I'm missing. It's a wooden box. Maybe a case for letters? Hey, Clover, you ever write letters? Nothing. All right, well, I dare dream. It's a light. Well, I guess she doesn't really feel like talking. She's not really paying attention to anything, is she? Her mind must be somewhere else. It's a light bolted to the wall. A light. Looks kind of like a wilted flower. Let's see. Junpei, are you trying to open that door? Forget it. It's pointless. I tried it earlier. It won't open. Thank you, little Miss Positivity. Okay, so now begins the time where Max wanders around like a moron trying to figure out what piece of the puzzle he is missing here. I feel like I need a handle or something. Something of that general ilk.